Was Week 7 fantastic or what? I guess if you're a Bama fan, not so much, but for the majority of the college football fan base, Week 7 was simply magical. It's what college football is all about. Now, as far as the college football world in general, the big game of the week was Tennessee and Alabama. Bama has been teetering and tottering all season. They've been due for a loss. And despite what a lot of people are saying, this isn't going to end Alabama's season or destroy their dynasty. I think actually it's going to help them out because it gets this loss that's been coming, it gets it out of the way. And now they can focus on getting back to basics. They can focus on getting back to Bama football. Bryce Young is back. He played a hell of a game Saturday. There are some issues with Bama, no doubt. There's some discipline issues. I think they probably need to get a new offensive coordinator. But as far as Bama being over or the dynasty being ended, don't listen to any of that BS. It was a good game. It was a tough loss. Bama's going to be just fine. Tennessee is also going to be just fine. And I'm sorry, Sooner fans, Josh Heupel is not coming back to Norman anytime soon. Maybe for a road game in the SEC. But by the looks of it, he's going to be in Knoxville as long as he wants to be. And I think that's a sweet, sweet spot for him. Being the person that leads Tennessee back to prominence, that's such a big deal. And quite honestly, it's long overdue. College football is so much better when Tennessee is good. And I'm glad to see that Tennessee is finding their way back to college football relevance. Another story that is very important to talk about, Syracuse. Again, all these guys do is win. I talked about Syracuse a few weeks ago, and I mentioned how every game I've watched from them, they always find a way to win. It's usually at the last second. Last Saturday, though, they dominated against NC State, then 15th ranked NC State. And next week comes the game of the season for the Orangemen. We have them on the road against Clemson, and that's going to be a fantastic football game. I'm a little surprised that this is an 11 a.m. kick for ABC. You would think they'd move this to primetime, but this is going to be a fantastic game. And if Syracuse pulls this one off, you have to start thinking, man, these guys could go and win the ACC and maybe do even greater things in the future. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but let's take Syracuse very seriously. And I think it's time to pay attention to the Orange, and especially Saturday when they go on the road to face Clemson. Other interesting stories, I think the Big 12 still is wide open. TCU, obviously the big surprise out of the Big 12. No one saw that coming. TCU on top of the Big 12 conference. They appear to be unstoppable at this point. We'll see if that's true. But the overtime win, double overtime win over Oklahoma State was a statement. TCU is the real deal. And the sky is the limit for Sonny Dykes' team. And finally, USC drops the game to Utah. Again, I'm not overly concerned about this. A lot of people are freaking out, saying, oh my God, USC season's over. It's not over. They're going to be just fine. It's a hard thing to go undefeated or to win 20 games in a row. And I think sometimes, especially now in the age of Twitter, where everything is an outrageous statement, a lot of college football fans have become adrenaline junkies and dopamine junkies. And we kind of get hooked in and pulled into this idea that we just have to be perfect all the time. Sometimes losses happen. Sometimes you don't play as well as you could have. But you know what? USC is going to be just fine. And an example of that is Texas. Texas played a not-so-great game against a very tough Iowa State team Saturday. But they persevered and found a way to win. So just because you have an off game does not mean it's an automatic loss. And when you do take an L, it doesn't mean the season is over. It's a long haul. And in college football, with the advent of the expanded playoff, this haul is going to get a lot longer. So unfortunately for Twitter and the adrenaline junkies and the dopamine addicts, no, the world is not ending. The sky is not falling just because you take an L. We've still got plenty of season to go. Even though we're past the halfway mark, plenty of season to go. I can't wait to see what happens next week in Week 8. Hopefully you enjoyed Week 7 as much as I did. This is Kevin in Texas saying God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you next week. Bye.